everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Elsie.
Okay, Elsie, we've got a tough article ahead of us today.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of stuff about the environment in the news right now.
Like global warming, leading to climate change and sea level rise. Also, pollution is everywhere, like air pollution, water pollution, and plastic pollution.
It seems like the pollution never ends. And it also seems like humans have done a lot of things over the past few thousand and the last couple of 100 years, if we're totally honest, to hurt the Earth.
But at the same time, there are lots of people out there who are trying to raise awareness of these problems.
That's right. We need to talk about the positive things today. These people that are doing these things for the Earth, they're called environmentalists, and they're all over the world. Now, hopefully, by listening to environmentalists, we can learn how to be better to the Earth.
So our article today talks about one organization that wants us to pay attention to what's going on.
That's right. Now, we're going to learn all about the Global Footprint Network today, and it's got nothing to do with your feet. Trust me. Now, stay tuned to learn more.
Reading.
Humans versus Earth. The competition we don't want to win.
With roughly 7.5 billion people living on Earth, human consumption of the world's natural resources has become a hot topic. We need food and water to survive, but what if these resources? The Global Footprint Network wants to raise of this concern. To do so, it started the Earth Overshoot Day (EOD) project. EOD is the date that our ecological footprint exceeds resources the Earth is able to regenerate. The date of EOD changes every year. Scientists determine the EOD by studying several factors. First, they measure how long it takes the Earth to regenerate these resources. They divide that number by our human footprint, or how much of these resources we regularly consume. They reach the date of EOD after multiplying the results by 365. In 2017, we reached EOD on August 2nd. This year, Global Footprint Network hopes to push EOD further into the year. To achieve this, its campaign, Move the Date. Ways of reducing our footprint. Try eating local foods and using more public transportation to reduce your own.
Okay, so today's article, as you can tell, is all about the Earth and the environment. Now, we're going to start straight into it with our first sentence, which says, with roughly 7.5 billion people living on Earth, human consumption of the world's natural resources has become a hot topic. Now, before we go on, we're going to take a quick break to talk about today's shortcut for you, which is the phrase hot topic.
Shortcut for you.
Hey, did you hear about Timmy?
No, what happened?
Oh, him and Lisa are a hot topic these days.
A hot topic? But they're both kind of cold people.
A hot topic is something everybody is talking about.
I get it. Hot topic is 热门话题.
That's right. They're a hot topic all over school.
What? Why?
They started dating, of course.
How come I always find out about hot topics last?
So there are lots of people on the earth, 7.5 billion or around there, and that means we're using a lot of food, land, water, and resources like coal and oil just for ourselves.
Yes, roughly 7.5 billion people. 地球上大约有75亿人口。对于世界的这个天然资源消耗量一定是相当惊人，难怪成为了一个 hot topic 热门话题。And there's a big problem with that, and I bet we all know what that is.
And if you don't, we're about to tell you. The article says we need food and water to survive, but what if these resources disappeared?
如果这些资源不见了怎么办呢？ Disappear 是动词消失，那相反字就是 appear， 把字首的 dis 拿掉就可以了。So what if these resources disappeared? Good question.
Poof, gone. And not just like that. We've been aware that this is happening for a long time. And unfortunately, we can only blame ourselves for making these resources disappear. Luckily, these organizations out there, they want to help us. It says, the Global Footprint Network wants to raise awareness of this concern. Now, a concern here is a noun. It's something that is important. It's often something that makes people worried. For example, my concern right now is how I'm going to get home after the MRT stops running.
Concern 在文章中是名词，代表关心的事或是令人担心的事情。那它也可以当动词使用哦。首先呢，它有使担心挂念的意思。For example, it really concerns me that I haven't heard from her for a long time. 我好久没有她的消息了，真的是让我很担心。第二个意思呢，是关系涉及某人某事。For example, the environmental problems concern all of us. 环境问题跟我们每个人都是有关系的。So it's actually good to know that the Global Footprint Network, 也就是中文我们所说的智库 wants to raise awareness of this concern.
Right, and let's find out how they're doing this. Here it says to do so, that means to raise awareness. It started the Earth Overshoot Day, or EOD, project.
To do so, 为了做这件事，哪件事呢？也就是 raise awareness, 提高大众对这件事情的意识。意识就是 awareness 这个字了。那形容词呢，我们会用 aware, 意识到的，知道的。For example, everyone should be aware of the environmental issues. 每个人都应该意识到环境相关的议题。So, what is Earth Overshoot Day project?
That's what everybody wants to know, and that's what we're going to explain now. Here in the article, it says EOD is the date that our ecological footprint exceeds the quantity of resources the Earth is able to regenerate. Here's where it gets tough, Elsie.
So, ecological, 它是生态的意思。那 footprint 是脚印、足迹。Ecological footprint 就是所谓的生态足迹，指的是什么呢？指的是某人或某物占用地球的资源量。
Okay, bear with us, guys. We know this is tough, but we're gonna get through it. First, we've got the ecological footprint, and we see that this ecological footprint exceeds the resources Earth can regenerate.
Exceed 就是超过的动作，所以 EOD 代表的是一个日子，也就是当生态足迹超过地球再生能力的那一天。
So, humans use a certain quantity of resources. That quantity is bigger than the quantity of resources Earth can regenerate, which is sort of like make or grow again. Okay, so stay with us. EOD Day is the date in each year that we use so many resources that Earth is not able to make or grow them again in that year.
So every year has a number?
It does, and it's different every year. That's what the article says next. The date of EOD changes every year. Now, we'll find out more about last year's date later, but first, let's figure out how scientists figure out this date. Now, I hope you guys are ready for some math. Here it says, scientists determine the EOD by studying several factors. Now, here, determine is a verb, and it means to find the facts about something. For example, the scientist determined the tree's age when it died by looking at the rings in the trunk.
Determine 是决定控制。例句说到，科学家利用年轮来决定一棵树的年龄。那课文和例句中的 determine 决定的都是一个事实。当然，我们也可以决定一件生活日常的小事，比如说我下定决心要好好读书了。I'm determined to study hard. 那我们可以用到 determined 这个形容词，下定决心的。那你下定的决心就叫做 determination. What about the word factor? What does it mean?
Okay, well, they're determining the EOD by studying factors. A factor is a noun, and it's one of several things that can influence or affect a situation. It's one of the things that can make a situation change, basically. As an example, we could say, when planning a wedding, weather is an important factor to consider.
Factor 因素，例句说呢，当计划一场婚礼的时候，天气是一个重要的因素。那文章中，科学家决定地球超载日的 factors 因素有几个 ？What are they?
Okay, let's go straight into our first factor. First, they measure how long it takes the Earth to regenerate these resources. Now, what they're doing is measuring. Measure is a verb. They're finding the distance, the size, or the amount of something. For short distances, we use rulers. But to measure how long it takes for something to regenerate, they have to watch and see how long it takes for that thing to appear or grow again. This is often a long time. Here's another example. It's silly to measure this huge room with a 12-inch ruler.
Measure 它是计算测量。首先呢，科学家们必须要测量地球再生这些资源到底需要多少时间。How do they measure it?
They just measure by watching how long it grows. Here's our first number. That's how long it takes the Earth to regenerate the resources. Here's the second factor. They divide that number by our human footprint, or how much of these resources we regularly consume. Now, consume here is a verb. It's just to use time or energy or resources. We could consume food, we can consume oil, we consume paper in an office, how many things we use. As an example, we could say, I try not to print a lot of paper because I don't want to consume too much.
Consume 消耗，那我们消耗的量这个名词叫做 consumption。科学家们呢测量出地球所需再生资源的时间之后，再除以人类的生态足迹，或是我们固定的资源消耗量。
Okay, so now we've got our two numbers, right? We have how long it takes to regrow, and we've got how many resources we use, and we divide those numbers. Okay, now we're on the next part of the article. It says, at last, they reach the date of EOD after multiplying the result by 365. Now, of course, we use the number 365 because that's how many days there are in a regular year.
所以除完之后还没有结束，还要再乘以1年365天，就可以算出地球超载日了。At last 这个片语呢是最后的意思，带出地球超载日的算法最后一个步骤。那当然我们也可以用 in the end 或者是 finally 来代替 at last 这个片语。
Okay, now just one last time, unless you, let's just try to make it a little bit clearer. Okay, so you've got how long it takes to regrow, how many resources we use, divide those, then you have an answer, okay, you have a number, and you
then?
multiply that by 365, that day is Earth Overshoot Day.
Yahoo!
Okay, we've done it. We've done the math. Okay, now we're going to continue on. We're going to learn about last year's EOD. So, in 2017, we reached EOD on August 2nd.
So there were only 8 months. Actually, 这是有史以来地球资源消耗最快的一次。
Okay, well, this is not great, right? It took 8 months to get to EOD. Now, what happens if this year in 2018, it happens in July or May or something like that? Now, if you look into this, you'll realize that each country has a different EOD day too, and some of them happen as early as March or May, which isn't great either. That's only like 3 months into the year. Now, here, the Global Footprint Network is doing good work. It started this day, but it's doing even more. And it says this year, Global Footprint Network hopes to push EOD further into the year.
So to push EOD further 代表是要把时间从短短的8个月延长到1年. How is Global Footprint Network going to achieve it?
Okay, well, there are different things that this organization can do. And here in the article, it says to achieve this, its campaign, #MoveTheDate, promotes ways of reducing our footprint.
So campaign 是活动 Global Footprint Network 智库用这个活动来 promote 推广减少人类生态足迹的方法。
Okay, so now we saw that there's a hashtag, so you'll see this campaign on Instagram, you'll see it on Twitter, you'll see it on Facebook. Because it has that hashtag, they just want people to share it on social media to kind of get the news out about what we can do to reduce our footprint. Now, of course, by reducing our footprint, we're trying to make our footprint smaller. We're trying to use less resources, fewer resources.
So any ideas that we can do it?
Of course. And here in the article, we have some examples. We could try eating local foods and using more public transportation to reduce your own footprint. Now, transportation is a noun. It's a system people can use to get from one way to the other or one place to the other. Public transportation is the MRT, the train, a bus, a plane, a boat, that sort of thing. Private transportation is your own scooter, your own car, that sort of thing.
So there is an example sentence.
Right. We could say the camp organized transportation for the campers. They can take a bus there.
So transportation 就是运输系统，它不可以数哦。那我们可以多利用 public transportation 大众运输交通工具来保护我们的地球。Actually, there are so many ways to reduce our own footprints, and we can talk about them in our For You chat.
All right. Well, let's get to that now.
For You chat.
Okay, so our For You chat question is kind of all about what we talked about at the end of the article. It says, what are some other ways you could reduce your ecological footprint? Please discuss.
Okay, so I think we can use reusable bags.
No more plastic bags.
No more plastic bags. And we can use fans instead of air conditioners and recycle whenever we can.
Those are the easy things for people just for individual people to do.
Yes.
One thing I've been trying to do, I've been trying to use fewer plastic forks. I've been trying to bring my own forks, my own straws, my own dishes to places. Even chopsticks. I have my own chopsticks at home, so I'm trying to use less of those because those are huge problems in the plastic environment. Plastic pollution problem that we're causing. Also, I've been carrying my own bags with me. And now that summer's over, I don't use my air conditioner at all.
That's good.
Even like if I go exercise and I come home, I only use my fan to cool down.
And actually you can take a shower and you'll feel cool afterwards.
Right. All right, so those are things that we can try, but there are plenty more things we can do. This topic is super important, so go and figure out with your friends and your classmates what you guys can do to reduce your footprint. But we have to say goodbye. So for English for You, I'm Erin.
And I'm Elsie.
Bye-bye.
Humans versus Earth. The competition we don't want to win.
With roughly 7.5 billion people living on Earth, human consumption of the world's natural resources has become a hot topic. We need food and water to survive, but what if these resources disappeared? The Global Footprint Network wants to raise awareness of this concern. To do so, it started the Earth Overshoot Day, EOD, project. EOD is the date that our ecological footprint exceeds the quantity of resources the Earth is able to regenerate. The date of EOD changes every year. Scientists determine the EOD by studying several factors. First, they measure how long it takes the Earth to regenerate these resources. They divide that number by our human footprint, or how much of these resources we regularly consume. At last, they reach the date of EOD after multiplying the results by 365. In 2017, we reached EOD on August 2nd. This year, Global Footprint Network hopes to push EOD further into the year. To achieve this, its campaign, Move the Date, promotes ways of reducing our footprint. Try eating local foods and using more public transportation to reduce your own.
Vocabulary Review.
Concern. Climate change is a concern for everyone, as it affects people all around the world. Determine. Scientists determined the dates of the full moons years ago by studying the moon's cycles. Factor. One factor the travel company has taken into consideration is the increase of tourists in the summer months. Measure. The tailor measured my height and the size of my waist and hips before he sewed my pants. Consume. This difficult school project has consumed all of my free time lately. Transportation. Leora's favorite form of transportation is her bicycle. She rides it everywhere.